Allie Shipley.
And I'm Carl Wiggers. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Avery Davidson will be back next week. The U.S. House of Representatives is currently in recess, which means many in Congress are back in their home states campaigning ahead of midterms. For House Speaker Mike Johnson, that means time back home in one of the biggest agricultural districts in the country.
The Speaker carved some time out of his busy schedule to have a roundtable discussion with farmers from around the state, all sharing stories of high input costs and unfair trade practices. As TWILA's Josh Meeks reports, this roundtable was in a very unexpected location.
It's not every day that the second in line of succession to the presidency is in your living room. For Marty Woolridge's family in Cattle Parish, that's exactly how things unfolded Monday. At sunrise, they feed the cattle, and just an hour later, House Speaker Mike Johnson rolls up the driveway.
Today, he's in Oil City, Louisiana, sitting in our living room because he wants to still be able to get out with the people that put him where he's at.
Woolridge and Johnson have known each other for over 20 years, long before he was elected Speaker of the House. It's that connection that gets Louisiana's farmers in the room to have their issues heard.
We're hearing a lot of different issues today. You know, we're hearing about fuel cost, all the other input costs.
Johnson listened, took notes, and engaged with farmers who traveled from across the state, all representing a variety of Louisiana's commodities: sugar, timber, rice, and much more.
We talked a lot about certainty, some of the challenges they're facing right now in terms of the labor with our visa programs and, of course, with commodity prices and some of the things that are happening with international markets.
Mr. Speaker, Stephen Logan.
Labor is exactly what Stephen Logan was hoping to discuss. He's a cotton and soybean farmer from Johnson's district. He says government red tape can sometimes mean that it's hard to get help on the farm.
And so I think some of the reform that's going through Congress right now will make that more of maybe a 2 or 3 year program so that we have some more consistency of when our labor can come. You know, we provide housing and it gets inspected, and sometimes that holds up the system if the inspectors can't get up there in time. But it's a program that we need in agriculture. Without those guys coming over every year, we could not operate our farm efficiently.
Another problem plaguing Louisiana's farms right now is the foreign takeover of our commodities. Richard Fontenot, president of Louisiana Farm Bureau, says the scales are tipped when Louisiana farmers go up against imported foods.
As a rice farmer, I can grow rice, I can put rice on shelves in Louisiana, but unfortunately I got unfair trade partners coming in and dumping rice in those same markets. So I'm getting an inferior price for my products with extremely high cost to produce those. So at the end of the day, net effect is agriculture is hurting.
The one problem that every farmer here wants addressed is those high input costs. Fuel prices, fertilizer prices are oppressive right now, making it hard to produce a crop that meets their standards. Kyle Dill, a corn and soybean farmer, says he felt his concerns were heard, and he hopes that Speaker Johnson can get some movement on bringing down those costs.
They can go back to Washington, D.C. and try to come up with an idea of how to fix things. That's their job. Our job is to tell them what the issues are and talk through it and answer any questions that they may have. And it's a whole lot easier doing that when they're sitting in the living room with you face to face than over the phone.
We went to, in the heart of his district, not 30 minutes from his house, sat down in a living room, put a bunch of agriculture leaders from all different commodities throughout the state, sat down and have a coffee shop talk, if you will, and did the same thing we do, and he reciprocated with us because that's the relationship we have.
Well, it's top of mind for us in Congress. I have one of the biggest ag districts in all of Congress, in Louisiana's 4th district, but our whole state, of course, is laser focused on that. The first time in the history of Congress that you've had ag districts at the top of the pile in terms of leadership, so you know it's front and center for us.
The new farm bill passed the House with little issue, but is currently stalled out. With Mitch McConnell's illness and Lindsey Graham's passing, it's unlikely to have the votes if it were to come to the floor. And guys, being in the room for this and seeing Farm Bureau in action like this is truly what this organization is about, that grassroots effort. I mean, there's nothing more grassroots than sitting in the living room with the Speaker of the House. And that connection, I mean, Marty Woolridge talks about how he and Speaker Johnson go so far back that to him, he's just Mike. I mean, that's kind of surreal to see in that living room situation, but really cool to be a part of.
I know, I was fortunate enough to be there with you, Josh, and I think one of the things that stuck out to me was a picture that I captured while we were there. And we have probably a 12-year-old and probably a gentleman in his 80s in the same picture, and I think it was just such a testament to that day and the importance of the policy work that this organization does. And that was what stood out to me from that event.
Absolutely. And I mean, he wasn't the only person under 20 in there. I mean, you've got a lot of the future of agriculture in that room, and truly shows how important Farm Bureau's work is.
Oh, that's awesome. Really great story, Josh Meeks. Thank you for going up there and covering that. For Louisiana Farm Bureau, those relationships with congressional leaders didn't happen overnight. Following House Speaker Mike Johnson's visit with farmers this week, Louisiana Farm Bureau Public Policy Director Andy Brown says the organization takes the same approach with every member of Congress, whether they're a freshman lawmaker or the Speaker of the House.
What we did yesterday is no different than we would offer the least tenured member of Congress, and that's where Farm Bureau has its strength. That we are strategic. Like I told you in July, the Speaker's staffer is not the only one I'm planning a visit for. We don't. A lot of people play those politics. We play the policy, and so we're going to work with the least tenured staffer, the least tenured congressional member, and give them those same points. And then you're not betting at that point. You're just investing, and when that investment hits to the Speaker and to the majority leader, it's never been done in the history of our country to have two of those from the same state, then yeah, we absolutely fight way above our weight class.
Brown breaks down the visit in the latest episode of the Louisiana Farm Bureau podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Louisiana farmers are facing an estimated $112 million in losses after Tropical Storm Arthur swept across the state last month. Agriculture Commissioner Mike Strain says the hardest hit areas were Avoyelles, St. Landry, and Rapides parishes, which accounted for about 90% of the damage. In Avoyelles Parish alone, some areas received 29 inches of rain in less than 24 hours. State surveys found more than 190,000 acres of crops were damaged by flooding and excessive moisture. Soybeans suffered the largest loss, followed by sugarcane, rice, and corn. The storms also took a toll on farm infrastructure, destroying hundreds of pieces of equipment, dozens of grain bins and farm buildings, and more than 150 miles of fencing. Officials say those losses could have a lasting impact as producers work to recover.
Tropical Storm Bertha threatened to slow the rice harvest across southwest Louisiana, but LSU Ag Center's rice specialist says an early harvest helped farmers avoid major delays. Farmers worked to bring in as much rice as possible before the storm moved through the region. LSU Ag Center rice extension specialist Tyler Musgrove says those early efforts paid off, with most operations escaping the widespread damages and delays that had been feared.
Producers in southwest Louisiana were really intentional with their harvest operations in anticipation for Tropical Storm Bertha. Fortunately, we did not see those widespread impacts that we were anticipating, and for most folks, harvest continued with minimal to no impact from that storm.
Musgrove says harvest was able to continue for most farmers with little to no interruption from Bertha. The Louisiana Shrimp Task Force will meet this week to determine the fall inshore shrimp season.
However, as TWILA's Noah Melanson tells us, the industry is facing strong negative currents that are affecting the shrimpers and docks alike.
The pelican is the symbol of Louisiana, but here in Buras, shrimp are the animal everyone talks about. Here at DeChero's Wild-Caught Shrimp Dock, the year started off good, but dark clouds have formed on the horizon.
We had the wind behind our back. Within a year, it has turned around completely. What started off great has went like a brick wall. Why? I got a few ideas why, but I think the price could be a lot higher than what it is now, and it needs to be a lot higher.
DeChero has been trying to make the numbers work. He says one thing that has hurt the books is fuel prices, which have hammered both shrimpers and the amount of shrimp coming in.
Prices are not like a regular company where they could do a few surcharge with the boats. They have to pay it whatever it is. And with a higher price of fuel, they don't want to go out there and just grind on a few shrimp, have a big expense with fuel. So they tend to not work as hard when the shrimp aren't as given as much.
Shrimp prices haven't been great either, although the International Trade Commission ruled in favor of the U.S. in an anti-dumping case. So far, DeChero says they haven't seen the benefit of it.
Over $1 billion has been collected through U.S. Customs from the lawsuit and duties and all that. That money has still not been given to the industry to help us. The government has had it in a general fund. Where that money's going to go, I don't know, but it needs to come back to this industry, to everybody from A to Z. It's the only way to survive.
Without the shrimp coming in, we'll have to rely on foreign imports, which DeChero says just isn't the same.
I mean, you can taste the difference when you're eating this product compared to what you're going to get from the store from a foreign country. Oh, day and night difference. Consumers will never know about it if they would never tasted seafood from here, from Louisiana. If they never tasted it, they wouldn't know the difference.
The sad reality is, DeCero doesn't see much future for either the shrimpers here or even his dock.
My young kids won't be doing this. As the fishermen get older, they are they dying off fast, the fishermen. Their kids are not getting into it. There's a few young guys getting into it, but it won't be enough to keep up the volume. I need volume for this place to survive.
It's more than the loss of an industry, but a way of life. While many of the shrimpers have come from afar, they've worked hard to be part of the culture and bringing the staple crop to Louisiana tables.
We became friends over the years. When one of them dies, we all go cry together at the funeral. I mean, we all eat together. I mean, we know each other. And it's been like that for decades. It's definitely concerning to me as a business owner, because when they die off, I'll die off, the other docks like my place will die off, the whole industry will die off, unless we get new blood in it.
Reporting from Buras, Louisiana, I'm Neil Melanson.
The fall shrimp season usually runs from mid-August through mid-December, but that is determined each year by the Louisiana Shrimp Task Force.
The recent Cyclospora outbreak is changing how some Louisiana shoppers buy their produce. According to KTVE News in Monroe, concerns over recalled lettuce are sending more consumers to local farms in search of fresh greens. One farmer in West Monroe says demand has been so strong that the farm has sold out of most of their lettuce and are now replanting to keep up. The farm grows its lettuce hydroponically, using nutrient-rich water instead of soil inside a controlled environment. While that system reduces some growing challenges, food safety experts still recommend washing all fresh produce before eating it. The next crop of lettuce is expected to be ready in about 30 days.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is set to begin reopening the border to cattle imports from Mexico next month, a move that could eventually help ease high beef prices. According to Bloomberg, the phased reopening follows months of restrictions aimed at keeping the New World screwworm out of the U.S. Those closures reduce the supply of cattle available to processors, driving up cost for packers and contributing to record high beef prices for consumers. Analysts say resuming imports should increase the supply of cattle and reduce some of the pressure on the beef industry. However, experts caution that any price relief is likely to be gradual, as the U.S. cattle herd remains near a 50-year low after years of drought and liquidation. Officials say imports will resume in stages while livestock continues to be screened for screwworm to help prevent the pest from spreading. Louisiana sugarcane producers are expecting another big crop, but an invasive pest is causing concern for many in the industry as it continues to spread across the sugarcane growing region.
LSU Ag Center reporter Craig Gautreaux has the story from the Ag Center Sugar Research Station.
For more than a decade, sugarcane acreage has crept upward in Louisiana. This year's crop is expected to add at least another 5,000 acres, and what's in the field now looks good.
All in all, I think pretty much we have a big crop, a good crop, and people are excited about it.
Virtually all agricultural commodity prices are weaker than years past, and sugar is no exception. However, sugar prices have not seen the wild swings like other crops.
Sugar prices off of their high from a couple of years ago, but they've stabilized and crept up a small bit, so prices are decent.
Rising input costs are worrisome, but an even bigger concern for growers is the spread of the pasture mealybug, an invasive pest from Australia and South Asia. In its native range, the mealybug is not a pest to sugarcane, meaning scientists are starting from scratch on determining how to deal with it.
There's no playbook to use in response for this. We're having to research everything this year as we're learning every week.
The mealybug has been found in 14 parishes across the state and has now been documented in Mexico and countries in Central America, causing issues for sugarcane producers in the Western Hemisphere.
The pest potential is very high. Some fields I've seen this year aren't even going to be harvested. It's complete crop loss.
In the next few weeks, farmers will begin planting their cane and applying ripener to the crop to get it ready for harvest. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
Some mills have set a start date of September 15th to begin grinding the crop, which experts believe to be approximately 550,000 acres. Louisiana Farm Bureau Secretary-Treasurer Mike Melanson has received an international honor.
He was recognized for his contributions to the sugarcane industry. Melanson was named a 2026 Sugar Notable by Sugar Journal, a nearly 90-year-old publication that recognizes leaders who have helped advance the global sugar industry through leadership, service, and innovation. He was honored as the Sugarcane Grower Honoree during a ceremony in New Orleans. Melanson was recognized for decades of advocacy on behalf of Louisiana's sugarcane producers, helping strengthen one of the state's most important agricultural industries. Still to come on TWILA, Louisiana just got a big paycheck to help fight its feral hog problem. We'll look at how that money could help farmers.
Plus, new seeds are taking root in North Baton Rouge. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is investing another $35 million to help states, including Louisiana, fight the growing problem of feral hogs. The USDA says invasive hogs cause more than $3.4 billion in damages across the country each year. They destroy crops, pastures, and wildlife habitat, damage fences and levees, and can spread diseases that threaten livestock. The new funding will support partnerships to expand trapping programs, restore damaged land, and provide training for landowners. The investment is part of a larger 5-year effort to reduce the feral swine population in some of the hardest hit states. The USDA says nearly 7,000 landowners have already received assistance through the program, helping protect nearly 9 million acres of working lands.
A new invasive pest found in a central Louisiana cotton field is prompting researchers to step up monitoring across the state. The LSU Ag Center says 2 cotton jacids were recently detected in a cotton field near Alexandria. The small pale green insects feed on cotton leaves, causing a condition known as hopper burn that can lead to yellowing, leaf loss, and in severe cases, reduced yields. The detection comes after the pest was first found last year on cotton regrowth in Louisiana, raising concerns that it may become established in the state. LSU Ag Center entomologists are asking growers to scout their fields carefully and report any suspected cotton jacids so researchers can track the pest spread and help producers respond quickly. A new farm is taking root on Southern University's campus, but its biggest harvest may be knowledge.
The Southern University Ag Center's demonstration farm is giving students, community members, and extension agents a place to learn by doing. At the campus on the Bluffs, you can see how the farm is helping grow a stronger connection to agriculture. On Southern University's Baton Rouge campus, tomatoes, peppers, and other seasonal crops are growing into a living classroom. The Southern University Ag Center officially opened its demonstration farm this summer.
This is a space where people can come and learn, hey, I want to do something at my house, I want to do something at my church, I want to do something at my neighborhood. How can I go about it? Well, you have options. You can do raised beds, you can do in-ground.
Raised beds and in-ground rows give college students a lab, community groups a place for hands-on workshops, and extension agents training they can carry across Louisiana.
Yeah, it's definitely teaching our extension agents because we have a small but mighty staff right now, but we do have a reach, throughout the state of Louisiana. And the more that we can know, the more equipped they can be going out into the field and giving confident advice.
That kind of hands-on learning has also shaped the people now teaching here.
I actually did not grow up wanting to be a farmer. I actually wanted to have my own restaurant, but when I got to Southern University as a freshman in fall 2019, and I got into the plant and soil science program, and I met Ms. Elwood and Ms. Mila, and I just fell in love with it, and I changed my major over, and here I am.
Now Wells is using that experience to help young people build their own connections to agriculture.
It's like they just open up and kind of just let loose, and they literally have no problem with getting their hands in the dirt, and they don't care about the bugs anymore. It's very, very rewarding to bring them out of their comfort zone and bring them in a space that they may not be very familiar with.
The USDA-supported farm is open for tours and educational field trips, but for Elwood, what grows here is more than produce or even gardening knowledge.
You feel accomplished, you feel a sense of ownership, you feel whether you want to or not, it's a connection, to the earth, to our ancestors, to the past, to the future, It's a beautiful thing.
The demonstration farm is available for educational tours and field trips, and the Ag Center also plans to use the space for future workshops and training programs. We'll link you to learn more on our website at twilatv.org.
Dozens of kids got a closer look at farming during their recent trip to the Northeast Louisiana Children's Museum in Monroe. Madison Parish Farm Bureau President Robert Warren and Women's Leadership Committee Chair Dina Warren joined Richland Parish Women's Leadership Committee Chair Bobby Jo Futch to share the importance of agriculture with students and read some agriculture-themed stories to the children. Students also got hands-on with some ag in the classroom activities. Thank you, Robert, Dina, and Bobby Jo, for taking some time to teach the next generation about where their food comes from. Still to come on TWILA.
Maybe you've seen it in a boutique or on the shelf at your butcher shop, but just exactly what is beef tallow and can it be good for your skin? From the ranch to the kitchen and to the medicine cabinet, tallow is making a comeback.
Tammy Ardner is visiting Miller Cattle Company near Eris, where Amy Miller is showing her how tallow is made.
There was a time when every farm family knew how to render tallow because nothing on the farm went to waste. Now, tallow is having a resurgence, and Amy Miller of Miller Cattle Company said there are some very good reasons behind that.
At first glance, it looks like Amy Miller of Miller Cattle Company, just outside of Eris, Louisiana, is making frosting for a cake. But she's actually transforming beef suet into rich, creamy tallow.
But it is very hard and crumbly. That particular fat that is around, that hard protective fat that is around the kidneys, that is called suet. Tallow is just a umbrella term for the fat of a ruminant. But that suet is what we use. It's more pure, it's harder, it turns into a better product for your skin.
So Amy's husband, Bubba, is careful to save the fat surrounding the kidneys and loins of the cows trimmed from muscles during processing. After tons of research, Amy has mastered the art of making this product to help with skincare issues.
I did some research, and as a healthcare provider, I have years of experience of research. So looking into that and learning the benefits, not only you can ingest it, people cook with it for centuries. Women have used it on their skin for centuries. And just knowing those things kind of contributed to the reason I wanted to start using it for my skin. The salt will be drawn to the water, and all of the impurities are going to go down to the bottom.
So it's here that she uses a slow rendering process that removes impurities while preserving the tallow's natural qualities. It's a process that can take days or weeks, and she often uses honey from her on-farm beehives.
Honey is so good for healing, but it's also good for hydration because honey actually traps moisture in our skin cells and holds it there.
Besides the honey, Miller uses everything from vitamin E to green tea to make this product. It's quite a journey from the pasture to the packaging. But for Amy, it's all about connecting the customer to the food and products that the farmer makes, with an added benefit of health and well-being. In Eris, I'm Tammy Arinder for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The Millers are hosting their annual Miller Homestead Fair on October 10th, where Amy will be discussing more about tallow and regenerative agriculture. And we're told that Tammy will also be doing a cooking demonstration with some homegrown sweet potatoes at the fair. We're looking forward to that. That does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we will take you to the Port of New Orleans for a food relief effort that's helping people on the other side of the world.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and you can also find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you know when we put out new content.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.